Hello, Master Numerologist Andre Moore. And before I start my lesson, let's take a few seconds out to bow our heads to pray for the well being of the Russians and the Ukrainians. Let's send them our power, let's send them our love. Let them know that we're standing with them. Okay, thank you so very much. Today's lesson is called Master Number 22 Twin Flames. Divine Mother, rise upon twin flames of compassion and strength. Life is composed of two dominant vibrations, intertwining as one. Life cannot spring forward and upward without both fires working in unison. The heart of compassion must have the head of logic. A sperm must penetrate an egg to start the process of life. Male and female must merge as lovers to conceive. Evil and righteousness are twin flames that bring about lessons that help us grow. Soulmates are twins. One must have the other. You must stand firm in life, yet you must know when to yield, when to bend, when to show flexibility. The earth is hard, yet it brings forth soft and tenderness like blades of young green grass. Master number 22 must learn to maintain balance. To bring forth outstanding accomplishment, it must maintain its balance. Tell me, is it easier to stand on one leg or two? Learning when to stand firm and bend is a great lesson and challenge. You will crack if you stand too firmly. You will never move forward and upward if you show too much flexibility. The vibration that ties these two flames together is wisdom. The quality of having experience, knowledge, and good judgment. The quality of being wise. A 22 who has extraordinary strength would do more harm than good if it does not possess sound judgment. It must weigh out the pros and cons before making a final decision, paying attention to details and a willingness to listen to others. It is pointless to soar to the greatest of heights if you don't know how to land correctly. A reckless 22 can uproot the cart of balance. For an example, in the year 1939, a 22 universal year, because 1 plus 9 equals 10, 10 plus 3 equals 13, and 13 plus 9 equals the master number of 22. Germany invaded Poland. A letter was written by Leo Szilard and signed by Albert Einstein that was sent to United States President Franklin D. Roosevelt. Written by Szilard in consultation with fellow Hungarian physicists Edward Teller and Eugene Wigner, the letter warned that Germany might develop atomic bombs and suggested that the United States should start its own nuclear program. It prompted action by Roosevelt, which eventually resulted in the Manhattan Project developing the first atomic bombs. But later in his life, a year before Albert Einstein died, he confessed to his good friend Linus Pauling. He said, I made one great mistake in my life when I signed the letter to President Roosevelt recommending the atom bombs be made. But there was some justification, he reasoned, the danger that the Germans would make them. In 1955, the year of his death, Einstein and 10 other intellectuals and scientists, including British philosopher Bertrand Russell, signed a manifesto highlighting the danger of nuclear weapons. Was it reckless for scientists to play around with plutonium and uranium, knowing that in 1945, America was the first and only country to drop atomic bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki? In 2022, Russia has invaded Ukraine, and Putin has threatened the world with nuclear weapons if anyone dares to use military means to stop his takeover of Ukraine. With extraordinary power comes great responsibility. 22s have extraordinary power and strength, but without balance, it's like a bull in a china shop. In 1939, those scientists playing around with energy that they couldn't fully comprehend, if it falls into the wrong hands or if it's used incorrectly, the type of devastation that it could cause. But nevertheless, because the wisdom wasn't there, or because they 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 just could not reason or understand the potency that plutonium and uranium contain. They like they just didn't have the wisdom, and so the atomic bomb was born, and we used it. And Albert Einstein, in hindsight, said he messed up. In hindsight, you have to weigh out life, the pros and the cons. Is this a good thing to bring forward? No, it wasn't. Because right now, Vladimir Putin is threatening us with nuclear weaponry if we dare to intervene militarily in his war against Ukraine. And I tell you something else. As of yesterday, rockets hit a military base 20 miles from Poland, killing at least 35 military people. Fortunately, no Americans used that base to train Ukrainians. Fortunately, no American was there, but nevertheless, 35 other individuals lost their lives and over 100 people was injured. And the point I'm making is that the Ukrainians are fleeing west because they have this sense of safety. Well, the Russian wouldn't dare come this close to a NATO border, but nevertheless, they did. 20 miles from Poland. What if a rocket lands in Poland and bring harm and destruction to that NATO country? What is NATO going to do? How are they going to respond? That's why I'm asking you guys, don't waste your energy on the blame game. Focus in on a positive spiritual solution. 2022, that 22 energy is sitting there. It's not as potent as 1939 because that led to a World War III, a World War II. But nevertheless, it's doing enough damage as it is. And so let us not play the blame game. Let us just come together in love and compassion, and let's see our way through this. In my next video, I'm going to ask this question, and I want you guys to think about it. Is there ever a suitable time for a traitor, for a Judas? Just think about that question. Okay, so until the next video, try to maintain balance. From my understanding is that we give too much of our energies to the outer world, and we don't balance it enough with our inner space. Give unto Caesar what is Caesar, and give unto the Lord what is the Lord. It is okay to pursue the material, but not at the expense of your spiritual. If you devote 16 hours to the world and you only devote 1 hour, 3 hours, 4 hours, 5 hours to your inner space, you're not balanced. You're leaning more towards the outer world than you are the inner world. You care more about what's going on outside of yourself as opposed to what's going on within yourself. Not understanding that what's going on within yourself is creating the circumstances in your outer self. So if you want to correct the outer, you have to correct the inner. And in order to correct the inner, you got to spend time with yourself. But our society don't allow you to spend time with yourself. And so you have to steal time. If you got to be at work at 6 o'clock in the morning and you get up at 5 o'clock in the morning, then you're going to have to get up at 4 o'clock and give God that time between 4 and 5. You just got to do it. You can't neglect yourself. You can't neglect the Lord. You got to go into your inner closet and be still and contemplate that you are indeed in His image, so that when you come out of meditation, you will have the spiritual insight and the spiritual guidance that will guide you for the remaining of your hours in that 24-hour cycle, so you can make better decisions, more spiritual decisions. Okay, you guys. So until the next video, peace. And try to devote more time to your inner space. You're not going to be able to balance it out. You're not going to be able to give the world 8 hours and give your inner self 8 hours, because our society is not going to allow you to do that. But you can give God 2 hours. You can do that. And if you do that, then you will see such an improvement, not in your own personal life, but in the life of the whole world. Okay, you guys, stay strong.